It's 12:26 now. Right over here, this tower is beaming me right in the back. Sitting in the chair here, pulsing me in the back of the head. Sirens keep going up and down the road. This lady's laughing like a witch over here by this restaurant over here right through the alley. HICKAM Air Force Base is targeting me. They do the voice to skull, and then it hits me from this tower over here. So obviously they're controlling the switches to these towers that are set up, these weapons. And they've just been firing them on me all morning to the point where I just start convulsing in the chair. I can feel electric, like my whole neurology and physiology is all messed up. I can feel burning through my skin. They just turn it up until I start flopping in my chair, and then they turn it down. Then they turn it up to right where I'm almost ready to flop, and they hold it there until I just start flopping, and then they turn it down. Then they turn it, I can physically feel it go up and down, up and down, up and down. In the meantime, they're doing timed little garbage can slams, honking, and direct energy weapons attacks from this tower here and the ones from over by HICKAM Air Force Base. I've already made 2 notes on it, which they're blurring now, which is, ought to be obvious. You know, they're terrorism. That's how they try to cover it up. You know, and now it's coming from HICKAM Air Force Base again. Chris, don't. You know, this computer voice. You know, in the meantime, I'm sitting there watching on YouTube how they plan to depopulate us all, you know, by the year 2025 because the world's overpopulated or something, just by killing Americans with this shit. In the meantime, KHON refuses to report it, and they're calling that guy crazy, paranoid, that just shot 2 cops, you know. Yeah. So that's good exercise in your Second Amendment, man. In the meantime, though, I guess some organized gang stalkers are out of housing now. One thing that I have noticed is there's always a fire. When they were torturing me over by Air American Storage, they were torturing me with the fire department and everything, and when they were doing construction from a tower, constantly beeping their horn and everything. Some guy started a fire right outside the storage unit with some boxes or something. I got it on film, actually. And then the fire department come up. It was number 6. Ironically, the one that was on Waikiki was 33, like a Mason. 33 was the number. My housing counselor, Christine Nelson, she said her mom's name, her last name was Hanson, and that her mom used to call her Chris. That was my counselor. She said that she worked over on the dry part of the island, or whatever. She's over there now. That night, there was a big old fire over there. So, there always seems to be a fire involved with either housing, counselors, this guy over here at Waikiki. I think they did a smart meter. That's what I think. I don't even know if it was the guy that said it. I think they actually caught the house on fire, because they said that the house just started ablaze, you know, immediately from everywhere. There was just like instantly smoke. He said just a couple minutes after that he smelled smoke. I think they actually used a smart meter and they caught the electrical on fire in the house and they burnt that guy up inside. That's what I think. And the other houses caught fire. Can't prove it, but I think that's what happened. Just like Waco, Texas, I think they burned them. They burned them to death. Anyways, every time there's a helicopter. every time they do something, they got a siren that goes up and down the road. They just made a threat on my mom. I was gonna call her, and the voice to skull come from HICKAM. We need to overtake. We need to overtake their rides before he makes that call. Overtake their rides before he makes that call. I don't know how I missed that, but that should be circled right there too. That come from HICKAM Air Force Base, voice to skull, like they're gonna grab the steering in the car or something and wipe out my family, because I was gonna call my mom, and in the meantime, right after that, when that thing says we need to overtake their rides, there's a bunch of sirens going up and down the road, like they're on the scene already, you know. That's what they're doing, this psychological warfare, psychological terrorizing, as they're making comments about killing my family and everything across the sky here in Honolulu. And when you call KHON, they just hang up on you, they laugh, like Nestor Garcia, who has now resigned from KHON and agreed to pay thousands of dollars in ethical violations, is no longer there. Christine Yeno, Nicole, and numerous other ones that I've talked to, they just there's nothing done about it. They cover it up. In the meantime, this guy from Waikiki who said the government was watching them, they started out a news segment saying AI, like artificial intelligence, but then they said always investigating. You know, like this thing's always watching us, but it ain't that, it's them, you know. They're covering it up, and the Honolulu Police Department has already falsified 2 police reports. One, an assault that was done at A American Storage on me. They covered it up with the prosecuting attorney in the Honolulu Police Department, and Detective Coleman. And while the other chief of police and his prosecutor wife are waiting to go to prison right now for conspiracy. Nestor Garcia no longer works at KHON. Another dirtbag. He has resigned because of ethical violations. Every time I would call on her, he'd laugh at me and hang up, like he knew what was going on. And in the meantime, I find out that 911 is the same exact number that come from the prosecuting attorney. And every time I go to call, it'd come from HICKAM Air Force Base. Oh, here comes our 911 call. Like they're telling the operators, you know, and then when I call, they'd go, oh, it's you again. You know? So that's what's going on. This has been going on. I've been being brutally tortured for 4 years straight now, and nobody will report it. In the meantime, there's 2 cops dead. Yeah, well, I don't know. The Bible says you live by the sword, you die by the sword, you're going to reap what you sow. So, I guess, you know, there you go. You know? Good exercising your Second Amendment.